Yo, so I just figured out how to become completely unrecognizable in 6 months. And man, I'm not talking about some surface level glow up BS. I'm talking about rewiring your entire identity so deeply that people from your past literally don't recognize the energy you're carrying. This is not motivation. This is systematic transformation. Look, I'm about to break down something that's gonna piss off every self-help guru out there. Most people try to change their habits while keeping the same identity. That's like trying to build a skyscraper on quicksand. And once you get this, you will never approach transformation the same way again. Hey, what's good? It's Reeves here, and I help entrepreneurs reprogram their minds for income breakthroughs. If you're a 6 to 8 figure entrepreneur stuck at an income level and want to work with me one-on-one to double your revenue in 12 weeks or less, links in description to apply. Let's get back to the video. So about 6 months ago, I was stuck in the same patterns, same energy, same results. Like I was technically successful, but I felt like I was living someone else's life. Then I discovered something that flipped everything. There's a reason some people transform completely whilst others stay stuck in the same cycle for years. It's not about willpower, it's not about motivation, it's about understanding something most people never figure out. See, I came across this ancient wisdom that says, if you seek to understand the universe, you will understand nothing at all. But if you seek to understand yourself, you will understand the whole universe. And that hit different because I realized I was trying to change everything around me instead of changing person looking at it all. In the next 20 minutes or so, I'm gonna break down the exact 6-pillar system that made me unrecognizable. We're talking identity overhaul, physical transformation, skill acceleration, environment reengineering, psychological fortification, and social recalibration. By the end of this, you'll have a complete blueprint to become the version of yourself that you can't even imagine right now. Now, if you are not ready to completely let go of who you have been to become who you're meant to be, just click off because what I'm about to share is gonna challenge everything you think you know about change. Point 1. Identity overhaul, the foundation. Most people fail at transformation because they try to staple new habits onto the same old self-image. That's like trying to run a new software on an outdated operating system. It's gonna crash every time. Now, most people fail at transformation because they try to staple new habits onto the same old self-image. That's like trying to run a new software on an outdated operating system. It's gonna crash every time. Me, for example, I used to see myself as someone who tries to get in shape instead of someone who is in shape. That subtle difference in identity was sabotaging me every step of the way. My brain would literally create situations to prove my old identity right. Then I realized something very profound, and this is where it gets deep. Change of expression can only be brought up by change of consciousness. You can't act differently until you think differently. And you can't think differently until you become someone different at the core. So I started trying to change my habits and started changing my identity. Every choice became a vote for who I was becoming, not who I wanted to be, who I already was in my mind. I want you to think about it like this. If you see yourself as a healthy person, you don't have to force yourself to eat well. Healthy people just eat well. It's automatic. That's the power of identity level change. But here's what really blew my mind about this whole process. It's not about changing yourself. It's about a way of returning to self. The person you're becoming isn't new. It's who you have always been underneath all the conditioning and limitations. I started acting as if I was already the person I wanted to become. Not fake it till you make it, but genuine embodiment of that identity. Within weeks, my actions started aligning automatically because I wasn't fighting my self-concept anymore. Your identity is just a story you keep telling yourself. And if you can change the story, you can change everything. Most people are living in the sequel of a movie they don't even like. Point 2. Physical transformation, the proof. Your body is the receipt for your discipline. It's proof you weren't bluffing about change. And when people see you, they feel the transformation before you even speak. I used to think fitness was about looking good. It's really about becoming someone who can handle discomfort, someone who follows through, someone who doesn't negotiate with weakness. That confidence bleeds into everything else. Now, I remember reading something that completely shifted my perspective on this. James Allen once said, "A man can only rise conquer, and achieve by lifting up his thoughts. Your physical transformation starts in your mind. You have to see yourself as someone who deserves to be in incredible shape before your body will follow. Look, you don't need 30 supplements and 5 different training splits. You need fewer decisions and more consistency. Lift heavy, walk a lot, eat intentionally, sleep like it matters. That's it. I aimed it for 100 average days instead of 10 perfect ones. That's what breaks your old body and builds your new identity. You start identifying as someone with high standards, and that loops reinforce itself. After 90 days of this, something shifted. I wasn't just looking different, I was carrying myself different. People started treating me differently because my energy was different. Your physical state affects everything else. How you do one thing is how you do everything. Sloppy postures leads to sloppy thinking. Low energy leads to low ambition. You can't be high output in business when you're low discipline in the kitchen. Point number 3, skill acceleration, the power. Once your identity is locked and your body is dialed, the next move is power. Real tangible, practical power. And power in this world looks like skills that make people need you. The old me took 6 months to start something. The new me can learn a high-income skill in 6 weeks and get paid by week 8. The difference isn't intelligence, it's intensity and focus. But there's something deeper happening here that most people miss. I learned that it is imagination which makes one a leader, while the lack of it makes one a follower. Most people can't imagine themselves being exceptional at something, so they settle for average. But when you can vividly see yourself mastering a skill, you become unstoppable. Most people waste years learning things that don't translate. If that doesn't solve a painful problem for someone who will pay for it, it's a hobby. Keep it for weekends. I picked up one skill and ruthlessly eliminated everything else. Deep dive for 7 days. Saturate your brain. Launch one project. Get feedback fast. Fix it and ask again. Repeat until someone pays you. And here's where the magic happens. Every conscious claim must in time be expressed as a condition of your world. When you consciously claim mastery of a skill and act from that knowing, reality has no choice but to reflect that back to you. By day 30, I was charging money, even if it was just $50. Once someone pays for your work, you're in business. It's only up from there. You don't just need practice, you need pressure. Reality needs to punch you in the face a few times so you can adapt. That's how you build instinct. Point number 4, environment re-engineering, the system. Your environment will always beat your willpower. You can have the perfect plan and strongest mindset, but if you're swimming in the same water that drowned you last time, you will eventually fold. I realized I was trying to be a new person in the same spaces that created my old problems. That's like trying to get sober while living in a bar. Then I understood something that changed how I see everything around me. We can only perceive what we are the vibratory match of. If you're surrounded by low vibration people and environments, that's all you'll be able to see and experience. You have to upgrade your environment to upgrade your perception. So I started with subtraction. I unfollowed people who made me feel mediocrity, feel acceptable, deleted apps that hijacked my focus, cleared physical clutter that belonged to my past self, make bad habits harder and good habits unavoidable. No junk food in the house, phone across the room, gym bag by the door, let your environment do the heavy lifting. People are the most powerful environmental factor. You can't sprint when your entire circle is moving at a crawl. I got closer to people whose normal was my goal, even if it was just through online communities. Sometimes, the only way to win is to physically leave. New city, new apartment, new country. You can't become someone new in the same streets where your old habits live. Point number 5, psychological fortification, the mindset. Now, your mind is the command center for everything else. If that command center is fragile, the whole operation collapses under pressure. I used to think resilience meant staying positive, but real resilience is taking a hit, processing it without self-pity, and keeping the same force you had before. What really opened my eyes was realizing that the inability to self-reflect and admit when you're incorrect is the path to suffering. Most people's mind are fragile because they can't handle being wrong. But when you look at yourself honestly and adjust, you become unbreakable. I set 3 to 5 non-negotiables daily actions I'll do no matter what, even on my worst days, that build the foundation of self-trust. Now, mental strength isn't a one-time achievement. It's a constant feedback loop. Every night I would ask, did I operate from strength or weakness today? If I slipped, I identify the trigger and prepare for next time. Your internal dialogue decides whether you rise or fall. If you're constantly telling yourself you're tired, unlucky, or not ready, you're feeding the wrong wolf. I created a mental script for when weakness showed up. Something sharp enough to snap me back into execution instantly. Most people suffer more in imagination than reality. Point number 6, social recalibration, the network. Who you surround yourself with determines your ceiling. If your circle tolerates mediocrity, mediocrity becomes the gravitational pull you can't escape. I realized relationships either accelerate you or anchor you. There's no neutral. Someone's either feeding your fire or smoothing it. I started measuring people by the effect on my actions, not just how much I liked them. That friend who always down for drinks, fun, but also a break tied to your ankle. Now, I didn't burn bridges dramatically. I just stopped showing up to places where the old version of me used it to waste time, created space until connections faded naturally. I paid for rooms, joined masterminds, networking groups, private communities, spent money to be around people operating at a higher level. The more time you spend in that ecosystem, the faster your old habits root away. High caliber people don't keep you around just because you want to be there. You have to bring value. Lead with knowledge, make introductions, solve problems. Show you're there to elevate, not leech. The 180-day protocol. The exact system that made me unrecognizable. Day 1 to day 30. Identify and body foundation. Pick your new identity, start the physical transformation, eliminate toxic environment. Day 31 to day 90. Skill building and mental fortification. Master one valuable skill, build psychological resilience, upgrade your social circle. Day 91 to day 180, integration and acceleration. Everything working together, compound effects kicking in, becoming the version you visualize. Now, I got a warn you though, around day 60, you'll want to quit. Your old identity will fight back hard. That's exactly when you double down. The resilience is proof it's working. Becoming unrecognizable isn't about changing everything at once. It's about changing the right things in the right order so they compound. Most people try to change their life without changing themselves, but you can't solve an identity problem with a strategy solution. You have to become someone different first. And remember what I said earlier. It's not about changing yourself. It's about a way of returning to self, right? The person you're becoming has always been there. You're just removing everything that isn't authentically you. Your transformation isn't coming. It's already here. You're just choosing whether to step into it or stay comfortable in your old patterns. I already know you have what it takes. The question is, are you ready to become unrecognizable? Now, go build a version of yourself that you can't even imagine yet.